Welcome everybody, it's the R.O.T.N. Oddcast. I'm Famine.
I'm Professor White Heat.
For today's episode, we chose the comic book
Batman Dark Age.
Written by Mark Russell and art by Michael R.O.T.N. It tells of an old Bruce Wayne in a retirement home trying to remember his past adventures by writing them down in a journal. It's interesting because you're not sure if it's an alternative reality or is it just his mind not putting the pieces of the puzzle back together correctly.
Now, we know we did a Batman comic last episode, but we wanted to bring it up because we love Michael R.O.T.N's work. Think of it as back-to-back episode, or should I say bat-to-bat.
Yeah, R.O.T.N is amazing, from Madman to Ecstatic, Silver Surfer to Icarus and the Atomics, even iZombie. I love his pop art style and all of his musical Easter eggs.
I like how in Batman Dark Age, the Mad Hatter is similar to Charles Manson and Barbara Gordon is similar to Patty Hearst. I even think I saw Elton John in the background.
Amazing. All right, so that brings us to tonight's topic, which is dark. And this is going to be a two-parter with the next episode continuing. So if you missed your favorite dark-themed subject, don't worry. I'm sure we'll get to it in the next episode. Let's talk about movies with dark in the title. Now we're keeping it between the 60s to the 80s. And in the next episode, we'll do 90s and 2000s. So let's start it off with A Shot in the Dark from 1964, which was the sequel to The Pink Panther with Peter Sellers, reprising his role as Inspector Clouseau. Next, we have Devils of Darkness from 1965, which is a British horror movie about a count who resurrects a gypsy woman to be his bride, and the scene of this in the movie is really beautiful.
Awaken. Rise from your sleep. Feel its power drawing you to me. No force on earth or in heaven can destroy the symbol that is Sinistre. This talisman that sets me above everyone. Come. You are my chosen bride. You will follow me to the end of time.
Then we have Dracula, Prince of Darkness from 1966, a Hammer film starring Count Dooku himself, Christopher Lee. After that, we have Wait Until Dark from 1967, starring Audrey Hepburn as a blind woman who's being conned by thugs trying to find planted drugs in her apartment. It's a psychological thriller must-see. Then from 1971, we have Daughters of Darkness, starring the mesmerizing mod Andrea Rao. It's a lesbian vampire film with an amazingly awesome ending. No spoilers, but watch it. Next is All the Colors of the Dark from 1972, starring another dark-haired babe, Edwidge Fenwick. It's a giallo/satanic cult film with an amazing soundtrack scored by Bruno Nicolai, and the opening scene is artistically insane. We'll show what we can without it being flagged from YouTube.
Okay, the next movie is The Dark Crystal from 1982.
Love that movie. Puppets. No CGI.
It's
amazing.
I would say they are Muppets. they are Muppets.
They're way more advanced Muppets.
It was directed by Jim Henson, the creator of Muppets, and Frank Oz, who is the voice of many Muppets.
Right.
But I guess we'll just call them puppets. It's about Gelflings versus Skeksis in a fantasy world of Thra. After that is The Prince of Darkness from 1982, part of John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy. It's about the liquid embodiment of Satan possessing people.
If you have a fetish for people spitting in other people's mouths, then you're going to love this because there's a lot of that.
Then, after that, we have another giallo film from 1983 called A Blade in the Dark.
It has this amazing shot death scene. I love Italian giallo slasher flicks.
Now, we mentioned Dark Age from 1987 in our previous episode about crocodiles and alligators, so check that out if you want a brief summary. Then we have Near Dark, also from 1987, starring the late great Bill Paxton and his awesome one-liners.
Game over.
It's a Western vampire movie that takes place in the 80s. It also stars two other actors from 1986's Aliens and even Easter eggs it on a marquee in the background of a scene. And the last dark-titled 80s movie we are going to be talking about is Cassandra Peterson in Elvira, Mistress of the Dark from 1988.
I love her car in the movie, from the rear view mirror to the steering wheel. I want to own that car.
There's a lot of awesome scenes, but the ending number where she raps is the best. Speaking of awesome music, let's get into our third track, which is Lebanon, Hanover with Dark Hill.
Okay, now let's talk about TV shows with dark in the title. From the 60s to the 80s, we have Dark Shadows from 1966 to 1971. It had 5 seasons and 1,225 episodes. It was about a vampire who escapes a coffin after 200 years and returns to his home in modern 60s time. It was basically a soap opera that aired during the day. And it even spawned 2 board games. There was Dark Shadows board game from 1968 and Barnacle Collins Dark Shadow game from 1969. It had several remakes and even 2 films, House of Dark Shadows from 1970 and Night of Dark Shadows in 1971. And of course, Tim Burton's film, which we'll discuss next episode. The other TV show is Tales from the Dark Side from 1983 to 1988. There was one more board game from 1981 called Dark Tower by Milton Bradley. Now, let's get into our next track, which is Dark Beach by Pastel Ghost.
Last but not least, let's talk about comic books with Dark in the title. There was another title that dropped this week called Dark Empty Void from Mad Cave Studios about scientists who create a microscopic black hole that spews out mysterious creatures. It's on issue 2. After that, we have Dark Minds from Image Comics. It's a cyberpunk crime thriller with a manga twist. Then we have Dark Blood from Boom Studios, which is about an African American vet from World War II who acquires superpowers in a racist Southern society. Then there is Dark Corridor from Image Comics. It's an indie murder mystery crime drama. Next is Dark Days from IDW. That was a spin-off of 30 Days of Night. There's Dark Engine from Image Comics about a group of alchemists in a fallen world that create a barbaric Amazonian female with a time-traveling engine to prevent the outcome of their world. Next, we have Dark Ark from Aftershock Comics about what if the same time Noah was building his ark for animals, there was a sorcerer who was building an ark for monsters. And last, we have Infinite Dark from Image Comics. It's about the universe ending and a space station carrying the remnants of humanity discover a murderer on board their space station, and they're trying to figure out who did it. Also, in the early days of Image, there was a one-shot called Darker Image, where all the main creators of Image, like Liefeld,
Jim Lee.
and Jim Lee, and
J. Scott Campbell.
no, not J. Scott Campbell, Sam Keith.
Sam Keith.
Eric
Larson?
It's the first appearance of the Max.
Oh, I love the Max.
It was the Max, and then Jim Lee's was Deathblow, which is like, you know,
Classic.
like the Punisher kind of gun-toting guy, and then Rob Liefeld had Blood Wolf.
Okay, let's get into our final track. This is Sleigh Bells with Hyper Dark. Thanks again to Phat Collectables for letting us film here, and thanks again to Squelch, aka Explode, for doing our logo. That's it. Until next episode.
Quick, a symbol, a solution. We're stalling. Flags tangle in the wind. Slash, 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 slash. Hyper dark, I think we have a problem. Hyper dark. See you like trouble. I think we have a problem. Hyper dark. Now, big day, tongue in a shade. Then you're going all the way. All those kids wasting away on a yearbook page that was torn out anyway. Pencil shreds, accolades, and certificates in a trophy case. Retrograde and Gatorade baths in the middle of May. In the middle of May. Hyper
do that again. I sound very robotic. Ready?
Yes, Machine Man.
Machine Man's a great character.
I know, he's great.